All right, there we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I'm doing another tier list because last one got some love, and I like doing these, and it's all about me. Hello, Castle of Dragons. Um, so yeah, so this tier list, which I actually made this time. Holy camoli, I actually made this one. And it's going to be Disney animated TV shows. And I'm focusing mainly just for the sake of this being a simple stream. My last one went 3 hours. I'm hoping to keep this one within two. Um, I'm keeping it just Disney. No Marvel, no Star Wars, anything that is just basically Disney with some exceptions. Certain like really foreign Disney shows I'm not putting on here. I think I've got maybe one or two that are technically foreign Disney shows, which when I mean foreign, I mean not United States. Um but yeah, so hey Sunny Dragon. Yep, let's get into it. I'm gonna start off again going through the tiers. So at number one, we have God tier. Best shows ever. Masterpiece shows. Shows that you need to watch. Great shows. As the name, sounds, it's a great show. It doesn't push it to God tier, but this is still a very well done, masterful show. Um, then we got good shows, which they're shows that are good. They're not great, but they're good. But good, way to pass your time, enjoyable. But yeah, mass shows. Mass shows are shows that are just okay. They're not bad. They're not good. It's something that happened. It's kind of like a fart. It happened. Maybe it wasn't that pleasant, but eh, whatever. Bad shows. Bad shows are just bad. There's nothing good really about these shows. I these are shows that like maybe you'll have one good quality, maybe, but the other things in it just suck so much. It's just ugh. Then the oh god no shows. Those are shows that no one loves, and if you do love it, I might question you a little. Not really, but yeah, these are like the worst shows that Disney's ever put out. Never seen basically means I've never seen it. And because some of these shows are really old, and I mean really old, I've never seen them in my life. Or I've maybe seen one or two episodes, but that was when I was like maybe 3 or 4. I don't remember them. Or they're new and I'm like, I just don't want. Um And then at the very last, I kind of remember, but I don't enough to really put it anywhere here on the list. Or for the shows that I don't remember to be. I remember kind of seeing it, but I don't remember enough. With that said, let's start off um with Bonkers. I think this was a show that like it was around when I was a kid, but I feel like I watched maybe a couple episodes and then my mother said no. So I kind of remember it. I don't remember it being all too good, but I also don't remember it being bad. It was definitely, I think, one of those shows that like my parents were like, "No, you're not watching Bonkers." Yeah, that's all I have to say with Bonkers. Um, if you don't know what it is, it's a cartoon cat as a cop, hijinks do. I think it's kind of like a goofy thing, but I don't know. Um, Pepper Ann is also one of those shows I kind of remember, but not enough really to put on the list anymore. Um, I also kind of designed it so that I have like I think the three that are gonna go in this one tier. Um, the three that are in that I kind of remember Pepper Ann as one of those. It's kind of I think it was like a Even Stevens kind of show or like God, how do I explain Pepper Ann? I hardly remember it enough to really explain it, but like I I don't remember hating it though. Um, the Wuzzles. Maybe people who are like really old remember the Wuzzles. I heard of the Wuzzles. I don't even remember seeing the Wuzzles. But yeah, the Wuzzles I was a thing that happened. Um yeah. Just sounds like a weird show anyway. All right, the Replacements. Um was kind of a mess show. I remember maybe like watching the first season, maybe the second season of The Replacements. Kind of one of those shows you just have in the background. Interesting idea. Just, these two kids have a cell phone that whenever they place a button, they could replace anyone in their lives. This including teachers to friends. And it usually has some sort of lesson at the end of it being like, be content with what you have in life. But yeah, just kind of the same message, same deal every episode. Got old. Um, I don't even remember. Maybe I watched this at some point. Maybe I don't. I don't even remember this. Timo Superhero. Anyone in chat or like in the future, because I post everything on YouTube too. Check out my YouTube. Um, yeah, if anyone knows what this was about, just tell me. I went off of a lot of wiki stuff. So yeah, Emo Supreme. Randy and Mr. Whiskers. I'm tempted to put it in oh god no, but I think it was just bad. I didn't like this show. It really had I mean, everyone has their different sense of comedy. Brandy and Mr. Whiskers was never my brand of comedy. Brandy was a snooty, high class dog, and Mr. Whiskers was a disgusting, like, rabbit. And when I mean disgusting, I mean, like, he did basically gross out humor, and Brandy did snooty humor. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm not surprised some of you guys never heard of these. I kind of made it so that I'm getting the ones you probably never heard of out of the way. Um the Clerks. I I I never saw it, but I kind of want to put it in oh god no shows because everyone's mad at Kevin Smith. So I'm just going to put that there just for that. Um okay, now we're getting into shows that I definitely remember more and have stuff to say on. Like Mickey's House of Mouse. Um, how do I explain Mickey's Mouse of House? House of Mouse. Uh, you ever see those like clip show like movies that like Warner Brothers put out of like, oh, here's all of our classic classic Bugs Bunny or Daffy Ducks. House of Mouse was kind of a clip show that mixed old Disney cartoons with some new Disney cartoons. And when I mean cartoon, I mean it's like short 5 minute videos of Mickey, Donald, Goofy, and the gang getting into various hijinks. It was fun and all kind of centered in this kind of like how do you explain this? Um like an award show type thing, but yeah, it was fun. You got also a bunch of, different Disney characters. It literally had like every Disney character of the time like in this house or like hall or whatever. And they did jokes on them too. Like you had Aladdin in there, Beauty and the Beast, um the um just like almost any character you can think of was in this show. And they just did small little funny bits with them, intermingled with fun little cartoons of the big guys. Um it definitely was a long time ago that I remember it, but I still remember it being good. They also had a special where the villains took over. That was fun. Might try and find that one to watch during Halloween. That one was um Murphy uh cuts the name off, but it was like Michael Murphy's Law or something like that. It's done by the same people that I'm actually gonna I kind of remember it, but I'm not gonna put it on the list. It's done by the same people that did Phineas and Ferb, and I remember it having kind of the same humor, but I think I only watched one episode and I'm like, I'm not interested. Um I know at some point they did a crossover with Phineas and Ferb, but yeah, I just kind of don't remember it that much. And I don't feel like putting it on the list anywhere. Remember. Teacher's Pet was another kind of meh show. Um, it's basically this dog decides to be a kid, go to school with his like human owner. Hijinks ensue. Um, and that kind of was just it. They did a movie with it, and it was also kind of meh. Um, but yeah. So next one, this was one of those shows that I just kind of saw on the internet, and I just saw like because if you haven't guessed, I'm surrounded by furries. Um, I saw like everyone's like, oh, you gotta watch 101 Dalmatian Street. Oh, you gotta watch it. You gotta watch it. And I watched it, and it was kind of good. Don't go into it thinking you're gonna see Pongo Purdy or any of the other ones from the movies, but it was still kind of fun and entertaining. The two kind of main characters are just older siblings of like 80, 98, like other siblings. um it was Dylan and Dolly. Okay, yeah, now I remember it. Dylan and Dolly. um I blanked on their names. um and they just kind of got into hijinks, and it was just kind of fun with a little bit of cute thrown in there too because it's dogs. um it was just kind of that. It's fun. I definitely suggest it if you like dog stuff. If you're a dog person, you'll definitely love it. Um, yeah, it's just I remember it just being it was a good show. I think I watched it like last year during like pandemic when there's like nothing else to watch. I'm like, yeah, I'll give it a try, and I think I got to like season 2, 3. Um, and yeah, it was fun. Good characters, good time. Um, I think it's still going. I have no idea. I should probably see if it's still going. All right, we're gonna now go into our first god tier. If if you don't know Kim Possible, I pity you. Um, Kim Possible, in a nutshell, is a teenager going through high school who also does um saving the world part time. Has a wacky main nemesis called Draken, with the only kind of like good fighter in the show, Shigo. Besides Kim Possible, Shigo is like the only one that can kick butt. Um, you got just really fun stories with all of this. Very, I think, early 2000s type humor, but it's still like really funny. Um, God, what else do I say about Kim Possible besides it's just great? Um, the last season I think dragged a little bit, but I don't think it really killed the entire show in general. I know some shows with like later on seasons will just destroy everything that's like in this like just destroy everything that was the show. The last season can always do that. The last season of Kim Possible wasn't bad. It wasn't as great as the earlier one, but it was still really good. Um, all the villains in this, the villains in Kim Possible are kind of like the villains in Batman. They all have personalities, but the villains in Kim Possible are just like 10 times funnier. Um, you had this just Irish guy that tried to blow things up with golf balls. You had, oh, junior, junior, senior, and then junior, junior. Oh, was it junior or was it junior, junior, junior? I don't know. That was the joke. One was junior, junior, senior, and then one was junior, 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 or junior, junior, and junior, senior. I don't know. I'm just gonna say junior, Amelia. But it was this like fun. Here's a villainous father trying to teach his son how to be a villain, and his son always just kind of messed up because the son just liked being rich and having fun with that. Um, senior was it senior, senior, junior? Maybe it might have been. I don't know. Names are also one of the things that really just suck with me. Um, and then you had her sidekick Ron Stoppable, who was just if you want to know Ron Stoppable, he's Shaggy in ultimate form. Scaredy cat messes up with everything, but in the strangest way that would almost fit Dream S&P's strange lore, was blessed by some sort of monkey totem to be able to do monkey kung fu. So Ron Stoppable, the goofy sidekick, can actually kick butt too. Not as good as Shigo possible, but was at least able to fight a monkey man who was also a recurring villain. Um, yeah, and I think and the guy that played Krunks in it too, Patrick Warburton. He plays like a teacher, principal, coach. He basically this one character plays every single role in this school, and he's Patrick Warburton. It's just as funny as when he's Kronk. Um, but you get more of him. Oh, and Rufus. How can I forget Rufus? I almost forgot Rufus. The naked mole rat. Oh God. Um, Rufus was kind of the sidekick of Ron Possible. Ron Stoppable. Um, and he kind of was this hairless kind of rat. He's a hairless mole rat that basically could do anything. You needed something small to go in and just destroy some wires. That was Rufus's job. You needed someone to just kind of hang around with Ron while Kim was doing stuff. That's what Rufus did. Um, he was cute, funny, yeah. Um, this is also one of those shows that I haven't watched in years. I should watch Kim Possible. Um, from Disney. Um, next is The Lion Guard. I've never seen it, but I've heard a lot of people saying, "Oh, it's really good. It's really good. You should still check it out." Maybe I don't know. Simba 2 was good. Um, if it's not live action, really, The Lion King hasn't done anything bad. Um, so maybe I'll do. Um, I kind of remember this ninja thing, but I for the life of me can't remember. I remember it like maybe popping up for 10 minutes. Monsters at Work. This one gotta kind of put it in a meh. Um, 1 second, people. One second. Um, I'm getting a little bit of a deep saying that I'm not streaming, but it says I'm streaming. I don't know. Yeah, no, I'm streaming. Um, okay, I'm good. Darn, let me get back to my streamer things. Okay. Um, okay. All right. Yeah, so ninja thing from high school. Yeah, I don't remember. Doug. Do 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 do. Um, Doug's another one of those kind of sitcom um cartoon shows. It was, I think, kind of Simpson like, but nowhere near as insane. A lot of it was kind of like subdue stuff, like humor. Um, I think originally Doug was on Nickelodeon, but I then acquired it after I think season. So I think that's why it's. I don't know. I remember seeing it on like Cartoon Network or like Nickelodeon or something. And I think after season one, it kind of switched to Disney. But yeah, it was a good show. I know I've heard some people complain about it, but I remember it enough to be like, yeah, it was a good. Um, maybe it's not certain people's cup of tea, but I still enjoyed it enough. It's just kind of laid back, fun. You got like also fun little kind of like imaginative skits that they did on the sideline. I'm trying to remember. It kind of copied off of like another live action show that did this. Um, I have Zoe 101. Oh, crap. But anyways, it was good. It was fun. It's fun. Fillmore. I don't think I ever saw Fillmore. I don't even remember. I think I remember seeing the commercials. Um, Lumpy Dogs. I also never saw. It's just for the life of me, I don't even know what it's about. Maybe a Flumpy Dogs. If anyone can check it out, it'll be interesting. Goof Troop. Classic. It's very classic goofy stuff. Um, with some of other things, you got Pete in there, and Pete has a family, and I remember, that whole thing was funny. Goofy has a son. If you ever saw I think it was the Incredibly Goofy movie or just the Goofy movie, Goofy has a son named Max, and that movie was really good. I think I did that on I said a little bit of that on. So if you like the movie, you would like the show, um yeah, it's just like a bunch of goofy antics. It's fun, it's fine. Not just a ton to say about it though. A lot of sometimes shows are just going to be good, and I don't have a ton to say about it either because it's been time or there's just not a ton to say about it. A lot of TV shows, you'll have like the serial TV shows that have like an overarching story. Those are ones you can really talk about. And then you have a lot of the ones that I have on this list right now. None of these really did a lot of over um except for I think Monsters at Work, but I watched one. No, I actually do think I did. Normally I give a show 3 episodes. Watch like 3 episodes of it, and I didn't like anyone except for um yeah. Quack Pack. I just remember the dumbest. Maybe I'll give it the honor. This was just like the dumbest show that I ever saw. It's fine ish, but if you if you're one of those people that have just finished up um like all the other kind of Duck Universe shows, and there's another one on here that's bad, but like Darkwing Duck, Scrooge Duck, like it's just the whole Duck universe. You can totally skip Quack Pack. It is the worst 90s, early 2000s humor. None of I don't remember really anyone being like in character either. I think this was like their first attempt of giving like Huey, Dewey, and Louie like separate personalities, and it sucked. um, because they were like the most annoying '90s tropes. Yeah, I kind of remember the original 101 Dalmatians. Kind of remember. It wasn't until like I'm getting stuff for this list that I was like, oh yeah, I kind of remember seeing that on TV. For the life of me, I can't remember anything, but I kind of remember it. I think it was fun, but yeah, that was just kind of it. Um, yeah. So now, gummy bears. That's all I remember of the show. Just the theme song. That's all I know. 'Cause they are the gummy bears. And that is kind of like along. It's an earworm. Look it up. I absolutely no, no, not that song. Not the I'm a Gummy Bear song. Um, whole gist of the show is it's kind of this medieval fantasy world, and these bears have this this like magical potion called gummy juice that makes you indestructible, and you just kind of bounce all over the place. And that's the gist of the show. I don't remember any episodes because it's just been so long. Um, I've now triggered chat. Everyone's singing the Gummy Bear song, but it's the wrong Gummy Bear song. No. Um. So yeah. I don't remember anything bad about it. I remember it, but I don't feel confident enough of putting it on the list. Um. All right. Now let's go to our first great show. Gargoyles. If you're someone that liked Batman the Animated Series, but you thought, you know what? I want more mythology. I want more monsters. Gargoyles. There you go. If you're like, you know what? I want to see the cast of Star Trek Next Generation all play villains. Gargoyles. There you go. Um, and I'm not kidding. Every single like fun big villain was a member of Star Trek Next Generation. Um, I think it was Deanna Troy plays a oh god, I'm blanking. Oh god, I'm blanking. Names, no, don't leave my skull. Deanna Troy played um a big reoccurring villain who was also a love interest. Um Thanatos was played by Will Riker, and Puck from like Midsummer's Night Dream, Puck was played by Data. And it was just the greatest show with the weirdest like cast behind the villains, but all the villains were great too. Let me actually talk about the show and not just the cast. The main gist of the show was um these gargoyles protected this castle, but they were only alive at night. Once sun came up, they turned to stone. So it's kind of like a vampire werewolf type thing where, you're a monster by night, stone or whatever by day. Um and they were protecting this castle for generations and generations until one day a one guy just decided, you know what I haven't done recently? Betraying all of my loved ones and getting them killed. I'm gonna do that. Um and yeah, so that happens. Most of the people who lived in the castle basically die. Most of the gargoyles died because they were stone at the time. I think it was like five, no, six gargoyles in total that survived. Um, Goliath being like the main guy. He's like, the mainish character. Um, and then all of them got like permanently turned into stone because of a mishap. It's better if you just watch it because I'm not trying to explain it. And basically, they're stone up until like the 2000s, where they get brought back to life by their new like arch nemesis Xanatos, and just stuff happens. It's very much like Batman that there's a villain that keeps showing up here and there. Um, the villains aren't as good. Like there's three group like great villains, but that's just kind of it. Um, Unlike Kim Possible that had like a ton of great villains, Gargoyles I can really only remember three great villains. Um, and the rest of the characters are good too. You follow just basically these six gargoyles trying to like survive in the modern world while they have just these weird mythological stuff going on. Um, some time travel stuff. But yeah. It's dark, it's gothic. If you like dark gothic stuff, that's definitely the show for you. Um if you kind of like European mythologies type stuff as well, um that's also something for you as well. But yeah, it's a great show. I think the last season I remember it not being all that great, but wasn't like it's a great show. Not God tier, but it's still a great show. Darkwing Duck. Kind of want to put Darkwing Duck. I don't remember it being exactly great, but it was a good show. Um, Darkwing Duck or DW was basically kind of like a single father who did crime fighting. Who I think basically this is gonna be as like he's I want to say he was kind of like Deadpool, being so into himself, but also funny. But he was nowhere near as like R rated as Deadpool got. Um, yeah. A lot of the villains were fun too. They kind of were like Darkwing Duck was like basically being like, oh, we're doing kind of a spoof on Batman. Um, and since we also have like Ducktales out, let's do some more duck stuff. In which if you watch the new Ducktales, they do touch in Darkwing Duck territory, and they're from the Wikipedia. There will be a Darkwing Duck TV show coming out. I think 2022, 2023. Um, I'm not sure, but yeah, it was a good show. Mighty Ducks. Oh, I remember it enough to be like, no, this was why. This was basically what they were doing here. They're trying to be 90s and cool. And what do 90 kids like? Well, they like hockey because of the movie Mighty Ducks. But this has nothing to do with the Mighty Ducks because it's just a mess of a show that's just bad. If you're trying to go through all the Disney TV shows, it just skip Mighty Ducks. It's not Tron. Ah, I kind of remember it, but I don't feel confident enough on putting it on the list. I think I gave it the 3 episode try, and I got through season 1, and then I know there's a season, I think 2, but I just never returned to it. All I know is this is kind of like a prequel to Tron Legacy, where Tron is like in critical condition, and this other guy is now pretending to be Tron while being mentored by Tron, and Clue is the villain. And that's basically all I remember of. So yeah. So this one might be something I don't think anyone like before 2002, 2003 kids would like remember, but they did a Little Mermaid show and it was kind of fun. I remember watching it and yeah, it was fun. It's, the Little Mermaid getting up to hijinks in the sea. I remember they added in she had like this guy friend. It wasn't a boyfriend, but just like a merman that was a friend of hers that she now did stuff with too, alongside a Flounder and Sebastian. Um, and just kind of, and I'm probably gonna say this a lot. Hijinks ensued. A lot of these shows that Disney did was just kind of, let's come up with a concept and then let's just let our writers just be like, okay, now do something with it. Yeah, so that was it. It was a thing. It was fun. Not much to say about it. Um, Proud Family was another good show. I remember enough of the Proud Family to be like, yeah, that was good. Um, it's really just about this like kind of African American family, but animated. I remember some episodes kind of tackling like stuff of the time, but that wasn't like the majority of the episodes. The majority of the episodes were like really just this wacky family getting like into trouble and sort of the main teenage character just trying to like survive her family. Um so yeah, definitely a good show, but it's also one of those shows that's also like, okay, we're gonna have a bunch of these like put a lot of work into these characters. What are we gonna do now? Hijinks ensue. let's just have the hijinks just kind of ensue. So yeah, it was good, but I wouldn't put it into great, or I wouldn't put it into great. Good show. If you happen to come across it on Disney Plus, I definitely suggest. Pen Zero Part Time Hero, never saw it. I remember this show enough. That's all I remember. Every single time I see just this kid, I just think, oh my god, I'm gonna. Oh, this is gonna. Uh, um, just a really annoying character. That, I think it was trying to get into like a lot of the BMX stuff. He did like stunts and stuff, but just the character was um. But yeah. Um, is this out yet? I think this was out. This is kind of too new. This is a new show that's out. I haven't seen it yet. So, yeah, just like with the Little Mermaid, they did an Aladdin one too. I would definitely kind of put the Aladdin show over the Little Mermaid show. And just kind of by the way, none of these are kind of like in anything besides just the tiers are in. But the Aladdin show was, I think it also ran longer, but you know how I've been saying, oh, here's these characters, hijinks ensue. It's the same thing, but the hijinks they got into were more interesting. Um, it's Aladdin, Jasmine, Iago, and the genie just getting into trouble in Agrabah. Um, a bunch of different interesting villains pop up. I would definitely kind of put it up along with like Darkwing Duck with their kind of villains. They're good, they're interesting. It's not Gargoyle though. But yeah, if I definitely suggest it. If you like Aladdin, definitely watch the show. It was good. This was a show I think my sister used to watch, but it was like, oh, you're watching that left room. Um, I have no idea. Um, if my sister watched this at all, just didn't really watch it. It was a fly. This is my first true God no shows, Pickle and Peanut. I watched just a little bit of it and was like, God, no, please, no, stop, stop, stop. I don't want any more. I don't want any more. Oh God, it was just horrible. It was just the worst show ever. Humor was crap. It it just does not belong. Just does not belong. Phineas and Ferb. Another one of those shows where it's like, hey, we have a bunch of characters, hijinks and news. But oh my God, there's not a bad character in the bunch. This this is definitely one of those shows that made almost everyone's childhood. This was a show that everyone watched. I know adults that love it. I know people who didn't grow up with it because I think it just ended like last year. But like I don't know. It was either last year or a couple of years ago it ended. But it's still great. It's still awesome. You have the character Phineas, the character Ferb. They're inventor, architect, adventurers that make weird ass crap in the backyards while their platypus puts on a fedora and goes and beats up a pharmacist. Um uh honestly, what really I for me throws us into God tier are three characters. And it's not Phineas and it's not Ferb. Candace, who's their sister, is always trying to prove to her parents that her brothers are doing stuff that they should not be doing in their backyard. They make a roller coaster that is definitely not safe in their freaking backyard. And Candace is trying to bust them for it. And for every single episode except for one, and I think it only lasts for like 5 seconds, every episode she just fails at it. Like, I swear her parents, no, like, she gets like mental disorder from just not being able to, like, find, just like not being able to prove that her brothers are doing this stuff. Um, who wants pie? Oh my god. Um, and then of course we have, you can't talk about Phineas and Ferb without talking about Perry the Platypus and Doofenshmirtz. In which, if you're a follower of my channel, you know that there's one person in our little group that loves Perry the Platypus, and that's Kat. Because Kat has asked Perry the Platypus out to the prom multiple times. But there you go. There's a little Perry the Platypus that goes along with our other streams. Um, Perry the Platypus and Doofenshmirtz is kind of like Tom and Jerry, where Tom is Doofenshmirtz and Jerry is Perry. Just they're it's just a great duo of just one going up against the other. And just the characters themselves. Perry the Platypus never talks, and is always just this like thing. I can't do Perry's. And then you have, and he's just this like out of the blue like secret agent. Like they get into it more the more you watch, but just out of the blue, like watching this for the first time, their pet platypus is a secret agent that's going up against Dr. Doofenshmirtz, who is just this weird person who's not mentally sane half the time. Um, he creates these devices called innators because everything is an innator. You want to get rid of like your brother? Well, I have a goldinator and it's going to turn him into gold. If I want Sonny shipping Cat and Perry the Platypus. No. No, Sonny, don't. Um yeah, his innators. Um if you want to like get rid of cranberry pies, he has an innator for it. You think of anything, Dr. Doofenshmirtz has an innator for it. He has a ray gun that replaces stuff with chickens. It's just everything. He's basically as imaginative and does everything like Phineas and Ferb just are as imaginative and just doing everything. Um, and Phineas and Ferb also have kind of a couple of side characters that come in pretty regularly. You got Isabella, just which is kind of the love interest of Phineas. It's kind of this one-sided relationship, kind of like Cat and Perry, but um, anyone that knows the show, as soon as I say Isabel, just has the cutesy "What you doing?" in your head. Um, Buford and Baljeet, which has the weirdest relationship ever. Buford is a bully, and Baljeet is basically the person he torments, but they treat it like they're in a relationship. I don't know. Maybe it's LGBT coded stuff on purpose, especially because this started up at a time where Disney wasn't very comfortable with LGBT stuff. But yeah, it was. I'm not going to read too much into it unless the creator themselves said that that was the plan. But yeah, it was just this kind of. It's something if you've never seen, you probably don't live on the planet Earth. But yeah, frenemies. They had a whole musical number about their weird ass relationship. It definitely just god tier. It's one of the best shows Disney's ever done. Um, I still kind of like Kim Possible more, but Phineas and Ferb is just it's Phineas and Ferb. It's something that you need to watch. Okay. Timon and Pumbaa. Look, once again, Lion King, besides live action, really hasn't put out anything bad. The Timon and Pumbaa show was just Timon and Pumbaa and hijinks ensue. That's just gonna be like my catchphrase for the rest of the stream. Hijinks ensue. Uh, It's just Timon and Pumbaa. They're in the jungle. I wouldn't say it's as good as Aladdin, the TV show, but it was funny. Sometimes you had Simba in it too. Simba as like I think he was mostly adult. I think you had the kid Simba in it too. But I think it was mostly adult Simba. Um, I don't think the other characters came up either. I think this was either the continuity of the show. I can't remember because it could be like anywhere. Um, if you like Timon and Pumbaa, all the humor is in this show. Great show. Definitely check it out on Disney. Wander Over Yonder is a show that I kind of remember seeing a couple of episodes of, but I don't feel confident enough to put it on anywhere on the list. There's probably people that are like, "Oh, I love Wander Over Yonder. Oh, it's so great." Oh, I just didn't get into it. I think I remember watching a couple of episodes, and then I saw like every single video clip of, oh god, what was her name? The like I forget her name. Um but one of the villains like big songs, I'm the bad guy, was it just blew up. Um and it's a fun song. It's a good song. It was enough for me to kind of get like an interest back, but not enough to be like, yeah, I'm gonna watch it. Yeah, and I think Wander's like extroverted personality just made my introvertness go, no, stay away. Um, but yeah, I've heard a lot of good stuff about Wander Over Yonder. I just haven't seen enough. I kind of remember. Actually, I should. Um, Recess. Once again, hijinks. um, a bunch of kids. I think grade 5. I think it was like either grade 5 or 4. Um, just doing stuff with a recess time that I think if you were a kid, you wanted your recess to be like this show. Um, all the kids have like interesting personalities, different characters. God, the fucking toddlers still scare the living crap out of me. Um, there were these like toddler characters that were like tribal, crazy, insane kids. Yeah, the kindergarten kids. Jesus Christ, were those things terrifying. Like most kids those age. They were normally the people you wanted to avoid the most. If they entered the recess area, run and hide. Um Definitely had like one of those playscapes that you know your school will never put this in, but dear God, you wish it did. Huge kind of like almost castle like playscape that was just every kid's dream. And it was once again those kind of shows where just hijinks and um where they'll have like of the some of them will have lessons, some of it will just be funny. Some of them are kind of nightmare inducing, like anything that had to do with the kindergarten kids were just nightmare inducing. I think I remember one of them where basically the kind of titular character, I think it was TJ. Once again, I blank on names and I can't help it. Um, I remember one episode where they just gave him like recess detention and it breaks him inside. It's just like breaking this kid. And it's like, holy crap. Um, And then there was another episode where like the government like starts doing so many standardized tests that they take away recess. And for like a week the kids get smarter and then they start just like losing their freaking brains. It's like watching someone who was like sleep deprived. Just like sleep deprived and like just like drilled like every single day. It was like, oh my god. Um, yeah, but that was a great show. Um, definitely suggest Chippendale Rescue Rangers. Once again, it's one of those weird shows where they're like, okay, let's just go for it. It's Chippendale, the chipmunks, going out rescuing sometimes. Sometimes they have to rescue themselves. Um, there were two other characters. I'm blanking on their names. I think one of them was Gizmo, who was a female mouse that made all of their contraptions. And then they had a pilot character because a pilot character worked really well in DuckTales, so they put another one here. Uh yeah, just kind of stuff ensued. I think the one episode that pops up in my mind the most what is the Fizzy Cola cult. They did this one episode where like soda became this like big thing with all these other mice and they created a cult around it. The soda was called Cuckoo Cola, and I kind of remember the song. It was something like "Come along, along, something cult of Coca Cola, whatever." But it was this weird cult. Um, Another kind of fun tidbit that I remember, if you know Magnum PI, and if you know Indiana Jones, Chip and Dale are dressed like them. Um, Literally, they that was something that like I remember seeing someone else like bring up. Like, by the way, they did that on purpose. I'm like, oh, cool, that's fun. But yeah, it just they get into trouble. Hijinks ensue. It's Chip and Dale. It was a good show. There was enough to it to just kind of make it a good show. Um, American Dragon Jake Long. Oh, if you are a Zuko simp and you wanted more Zuko voice, hey, may I introduce you to American Dragon? The main character's voice actor is Zuko. Um, American Dragon is kind of the same as Gargoyles, where it has a lot of fantasy stuff, but it kind of also split things where some of it was kind of like European fantasy and then Eastern Asian fantasy. Um yeah, it was this really kind of cool mix. If you've never seen the show, I highly suggest it. Um I don't fully remember many of the villains, but I just remembered this being just like a great show. I remember coming home, watching the show. Jake, um, Jake Long was just this great character. He had other family members as well. His sister was a brat because all little sisters are brats. Um, and that's a rule. If you're a younger sibling, you're a brat. Remember that. Um, his family has this weird kind of um power that basically turns them into dragons. Which is like, I don't know how Sunny Dragon has not dived into this show yet. It is on Disney Plus, but it's Zuko as a dragon. Come on. Um, and they're basically in charge of protecting like the world of mythology. Um, just any other kind of mythical creature, their job is to kind of protect it. Um, Sonny, watch the show, dang it! I know there's like a million other shows I'm trying to also get you to watch, but watch it because you need to get dragon stuff. They know you and your dragons. Probably you'll also like yell at me for putting it in just great. It wasn't God tier, but it was still a great show. I have a list. Um, Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Also a great show. Pure Winnie the Pooh. You're just like there's not I really don't need to say much. It's Winnie the Pooh. Everything that you love about Winnie the Pooh is in Winnie the Pooh the New Adventures. Just just yeah, it's a great show. If you love Winnie the Pooh, there you go. Oh, yeah, I just sparked someone's childhood. And welcome, Kairu. Um, so you know how I've been talking about Disney's been doing these like shows with, a lot of their characters. Tailspin, like Chip and Dale didn't have a show really besides all their shorts to kind of go off of. But for the movie shows, they kind of stuck with what the movie was about. Tailspin has nothing to do about Jungle Book, but it has all the Jungle Book characters in it, except for freaking Mowgli. Um, Baloo the bear teams up with a couple of other characters, and he flies planes and like delivers stuff, fights plane pirates, goes on adventures. It's really one of those shows that you just need to watch it to fully understand what the frick is going on here. But if you liked Jungle Book but didn't like the jungle in the book and just like the characters, just watch Tailspin. I really have nothing else to say but that about Tailspin. It's good, it's fun. I remember one of the characters being annoying, but it wasn't too annoying. Um, but yeah, oh, sorry, no Marvel. I must have just left that one in. By the way, I made this tier list. Um, yeah. If you like Jungle Book without the jungle in the book, I know what I said, and that's exactly what it was. Oh my god. Jungle Cubs. I've never seen. It was on the Wikipedia, but yeah. Um, Lloyd in Space. I kind of remember, but I'm not confident enough to put it on the list. Um, I remember liking it. I just don't remember anything about it besides Lloyd that was in space. He had family. In space, he was an alien, and there were other aliens. Hijinks ensued in space, and that was kind of it. um, so this is the first one that this is technically Disney. It was done by another studio in another country, but it's technically Disney. Ladybug and Cat Meow. I think I've seen enough episodes that I'm confident enough to put it in the good show category. Um, it's very much one of those kind of shows where, here's the setup and now hijinks ensue. Um, these things called kwamis are kind of like these spirit totem animal things that give people powers. If you know what a magical girl show is, this is a magical girl show, but done by the French. That's really it. Except we also have a magical boy. And you would think they would make the girl the cat, but no, we have a cat boy. And he does the puns that cat girls in animes do. All the cat puns. Just it was it's another one of those shows it's hard to really kind of explain. The big bad is um a moth guy. I'm blanking on his name because Mothra's in my head. Because that's what I think every single time I see him. It's Mothra. He doesn't look like Mothra, but this guy infects like these. I think it was Kwame. Um, Gotta change it up for copyright. Can't have two Catwomen. um, Kind of true. He does actually kind of look like Catwoman, and has kind of the same abilities as Catwoman, except he has a staff like Robin. But yeah, so basically this bad guy lets out this evil moth thing that infects people and changes them into the monster of the week. It's a lot kind of like Power Rangers in that way. Um but it was a good enough show. I haven't watched a ton of it. I know there's more Kwamis that get into it. I think I saw up to where the Fox one got in, but yeah, it's because I think it's because syndication stuff. It's a little mixed up. Like when so I started watching it, and then I couldn't watch anymore. I know there's new stuff. I kind of want to watch more of it, but there's also other shows that I kind of watch too. But it's still a good show. If you like anime magical girl shows, but you want to see the French do it, there you go. um, a lot of great, good characters. The two like main characters are basically in love with each other, but they don't know that they're in love with each other. It's that weird setup that infuriates people and infuriates me too. It's like it's like if they knew who each other were without the personas, they would definitely be dating. Um, I think they do end up dating once they do find out what each other were, but that's like I haven't gotten to that yet. But yeah, good show. Fish Hooks is definitely a show I know my sister watched, and I didn't like it. It was okay at times, but I found it annoying. It's not as bad as most other shows, but yeah, meh. Um, oh god, she's doing it. Chat, no, no, Sonny, stop it! No. Oh, it's another one of those shows that also has like an earworm opener. But yeah, just it was just so stupid. Also had like a lot of cringe humor to it too. And it just wasn't. It just was. Oh God, do the whole thing in chat. Um. So once again, in I know I keep putting them in good, but a lot of these weirdly, I'm not reading it all. I am not doing that song. No, I'm moving on. So I know a lot of these shows did like, they're the spinoff with the movies. Hercules is kind of like a prequel to the movies with characters in it that you won't see in the movies and sometimes wrecks the continuity of the movie, but it was still good. It was, you had a lot of Hades in it. And because we all loved Hercules because of Hades, you get more Hades. Hercules is also like gets more personality. Um and there's a lot of just kind of fun characters in it. But yeah, Hades. It's Hades. You can't tell me it's not good because of Hades. Um yeah. I definitely suggest taking it. If you liked Hercules, you'll like the show. And that's basically like everything with these old shows that Disney did with the movies. If you like the movie, you'll like the show. It won't be as good as the movies, but you'll still like it. I saw some of these. The earlier ones I just didn't like, but I heard the newer ones are so yeah. Um I'm gonna move on now to I'm gonna leave you gotta give you um I don't remember. It was on the list. Um People might get mad. I've yet to see this one. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's so good, it's so great." I haven't seen it. Because just the first season was I was like, "Oh, it's another one of those shows where person goes to magical world, but this time frogs? Really? Maybe it'll float some people's boat." It just didn't inspire me. Um, and then season 2 happened, and then Goku referenced murder and just total jumping the shark stuff happens. And I'm like, what the frick just happened here? I thought this was Toads. I thought this was Happy Frog Isekai show. What's going on here? So I'm planning on watching it. I haven't yet. Emperor's New School. Once again, if you liked the movie, you'll like the show. Um, the premise of it is Cusco can't be emperor unless he passes high school. So he goes to high school. It's freaking Cusco in high school. What else do you expect is going to happen? Big Ego Boy in high school having to survive. And I think Krog is in it, so you'll watch it for that. Isma is also in it and is trying to stop him from passing school. It's weird. A lot of these good shows have like some weird concepts to them, but just they still came out good. Um, yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. So I've seen some Star versus the Forces of Evil. It was one of those shows where I would maybe watch a couple of things, but I was told about the ending of this show, and by God, is this one of those shows where ending the last season kills it. Almost with everything. Huge spoiler warning. Star versus the Forces of Evil is basically about this girl character named Star getting shoved to Earth because her parents don't want to deal with her madness. And just hijinks basically ensues. Um, yeah, so there's a magical world, there's an Earth world where it's normal. They go back and forth. There's certain commentary in it. There's certain stuff in it that, like, they're setting up to be kind of, talking about stuff. There's this whole thing in this the fantasy world called Muni, where monsters are treated lesser than humans, and that has actually some things that really pay off, and they do kind of talk about it. But dear God, how they ended this show kills everything. Once again, spoiler, last warning. Star kills off every magical being in the universe. She kills magic. Her and her family just decide, you know what? This one bad thing is going to happen if we don't kill magic. So we're going to kill magic permanently. Permanently kill magic. And it kills off a ton of characters that you get to know and like. And it's like, what were you thinking? What the hell were you thinking? What are you doing? Yeah, it basically going under the just genocide races. And it just made no. This is one of those. It just. I would have put it under meh if it wasn't for the ending. It's not oh god no because there's still some good aspects to it. Um, or at least okay aspects to it. But oh my god, the ending just kills everything. This entire show, I don't suggest anyone watching it just from the ending. I mean, maybe if you want to see just this train wreck, just a train starting and just get wrecked. But yeah, it's kind of like Voltron. The new Voltron, everything started up, pretty good. Then they just killed it. They killed everything. Just like lit it on fire. Um, so yeah, just wow. Just wow. Um, I don't know where anyone else would put this, but I have to put Tangled Adventures in God tier. Um, how do I explain this? First of all, once again, it's one of those shows where really great movie and they decided to do a show. Only this wasn't just fully owned in Hygiene 2. They did, but there's story, there's characters, and oh my god, you need to watch this show just for the characters. Major spoiler alerts with just everything that's coming up. The show never the show starts up and there's maybe like one kind of true villain. Maybe just another one that kind of pops up here and there. But during the show, you see the birth of two of, I think, Disney's most relatable and best villains ever. And it is also one story that gets dark and not in a bad way. It gets serious, it gets dark, It pulls on your heartstrings. Um, I think the first one I have to talk about is Varian. If you watch the show, you're introduced to Varian as an alchemist kid who's a bit quirky, who makes mistakes, but he's very likable. He likes to help out. But stuff starts happening to Varian, and it's sad. Um, he makes a friend with Rapunzel and just all of her friends. And dear God, does this boy just want his father to be. And something happens in the kingdom. Now, I can't say the name of the kingdom because I'm worried that I'll get taken down for saying the name because it happens to coincide with a certain virus. Worst naming that Disney could have ever done for a kingdom. Before any of this happens, it's just the beer. It's just the beer. Um, in the kingdom of Corona beer, um, uh, in the kingdom of Corona Light, these weird black spikes that they kind of have in the first episode start invading into the kingdom. And Varian is trying to use his alchemy to stop them. Well, one of his experiments goes bad. When I mean bad, I mean Varian accidentally petrifies his father bad. Basically killing his own father bad. If that's not enough to mess you up, the one person that you relied on, who said will be there for you, ditches you. Because there's another problem going on. I know he wasn't dead, but it kind of is kind of that situation of they're not dead, but they're also not technically alive. Um, so Varian goes a little cuckoo bananas. He does some stuff he really shouldn't do. And if you've been on TikTok, you definitely know this song because this was a very popular song. Um, on TikTok, just his villain song, his becoming a villain song. And it's just one of the most relatable villains that you probably will ever get to. There's one other villain that I feel basically almost the same as Varian, but they're in a book series and not a TV show. It's in the workings, but not yet. Um, it's just oh god, Varian's story. He does get a redemption arc, and it's a little bit rushed, but it balances out with kind of our next villain that comes up, who was a hero for 2 seasons. And you don't see her change coming. It makes sense in the third season. They, help it make sense. Um, there's this character. Her name is Cassandra. And she is the aide to and basically bodyguard to Rapunzel. And over 2 seasons, they become really good friends. Close friends. Gal pals. Just the one character that always had Rapunzel's back besides Eugene. Um, he was just that badass character that everyone loved. We all could rely on Cassandra until the last moment where she does something and fucks everything up. part of the story of Rapunzel is a drop from the sun came down and hit a flower, and through magical stuff, Rapunzel gains the heartless cobra woman. Yeah, yeah, kind of. Um, definitely, yeah. That was definitely kind of her personality, but definitely one. It was the heartless cobra woman that needed to get like Rapunzeled. Um. So yeah. Sundrop, hair glowy, powers, magic. Um. Well, they also decided there was a moon drop, and the moon drop is the reason why they have these black spiky things. And when you combine the moon drop with the sunstone, you were supposed to be able to save everyone now and gain a lot of power so that the spiky things don't, destroy everyone. Well, Cassandra finds something out that kind of fucks everything up. And it kind of happens through a basically the overarching villain who shows up once in a while in the beginning, but in the third season, front and center, it's basically like this demon witch lord person. They basically help inform Cassandra that her mother was Mother Gothel. And if you know the story of Rapunzel, Mother Gothel is the one that kidnapped Rapunzel and basically abandoned her own daughter for Rapunzel. So Cassandra finds out the reason why her mother just abandons her is for the person who's supposed to be her best friend. And it's like, oh no. Oh no. Now, she could have handled this one of two ways. Could confront her best friend, or she could grab the moonstone, taking the power for herself, and decides to make it her life goal to fuck up Rapunzel and the whole kingdom. Yeah, Mother Gothel had a daughter. I did say spoiler warning. I did say spoiler warning. Um, yeah, so the third season is now our big villain has her Darth Vader, and they go to town. I'm not going to say how exactly it ends, but it does end happily ever after. You're going to have to see the show, I guess. It really is just God tier. I could talk about this like for hours. Um, just the characters from that the TV show made up their own. Just high points, high points. Um, they go more into Eugene's story. We meet up with actually one of Eugene's childhood friends and his dad. I won't spoil who his dad is, but we meet the man who spawned Mr. Smolder. Um, yeah, the main villain is Emperor Palpatine, basically. I'm surprised that you didn't realize that, Sonny. Um, but yeah, I'd say the only downside of this show is Rapunzel's kind of stupid. She's lovably stupid, but in the first season, she's kind of up a bit stupid. Kind of a big stupid head. Um, some of that kind of has to do with the fact that she doesn't have a lot of experience with human interaction. So, kind of what, something she grows on. But yeah, Rapunzel's a little bit of a stupid head, but it's not a bad character. And it is kind of like an arc that he's like learning how to be with people and how to be a ruler. Um, but yeah. Um, Dave the Barbarian. I remember it. I'm not gonna put it on the list. Um, it was interesting. I don't think I could rank it though. Weekenders. I kind of remember as well. I just don't remember anything about it. Um, so yeah, here we go. The last four shows here are definitely ones I have a lot to talk. Let's get to this one. No one freaking remembers Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, but oh my god, was this a great show! Once again, just the perfect kind of just idea for it. Buzz Lightyear is a toy from a TV show. Why not make the TV show? Um, it consists of Buzz Lightyear and a couple of other characters. Um, which of course, as soon as I say that, their names just vanished from my head. No, come back, Nate. Of course you've left me. Um, it's a great show. Just so much happens in it. It definitely tears over all of the like shows that came out of a movie except for Rapunzel. But like just during that era, like 90s, early 2000s, they did this. I think it was mostly in the 90s. Um, but that 90 era of just, doing that, Buzz Lightyear Star Command went over everything. And it's also one of those shows that talked about kind of everything. Um, it has a lot of like great episodic stuff, a lot of great villains. Zurg is a great villain, and like one of his lines is like always just kind of like semi burned into my head. Um, like it was like, oh god, what was it? Yes, I know the plan. Made the plan. Up the plan. I want to know is how are you carrying out my plan? Um, just great villain. A lot of funny stuff. The aliens are actually really funny too. Um, and there's like a bunch of different aliens. They really got creative with a lot of their aliens too. There's this one character that is part of Buzz Lightyear's team. He has like a team of a princess from another planet who is able to like walk through walls, disappear and fly. Um she's like able to like phase through anything and kind of fly. Um Another one that's kind of like the lovable goofball Tank. This big guy, lovable goofball. And then the kind of robot that we'll say like Data, but funny. But actually funny. A lot of the villains are really great too. Two of them used to be like partners Buzz Lightyear used to have. One of them goes full villain. The other one turns into a like cyborg werewolf, which is like what the frick? Um, yeah, they have like cyborg werewolves and cyborg vampires in this show, and it's really just like what? Um, yeah, it's a great show. It's the best of that era for those type of shows. And I don't even think it's on Disney Plus, which pisses me off. If I can ever get my hands on like a physical copy of Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, just anyone who knows me, that would be something great for Christmas or my birthday. Not hinting at all. Um, but yeah, I would love. I need to watch more. I need to watch it. I haven't watched it in so long, and I know I have like I kind of remember, but it's been so long. No, I remember this being a great show. This is going up on the list. Um, another great show. Lilo and Stitch does Pokemon. I'm not kidding. Um, the concept of Lilo and Stitch is 626. So there would have to be 625 other experiments, right? Right? Well, yeah. Um basically um all these experiments that Jumba did um get loose in Hawaii. And it is up for Stitch and Lilo to not only catch them, but to give them a purpose in life. Um, and they're just as like creative and wacky as like most Pokemon are. Except you don't have the keychain like experiment. You have like the crab one that like does like things at the beach. You have these two con artists that are kind of like, oh god, I'm blanking on these characters' names. Old classic Bugs Bunny, the mobster and the dumb sidekick. They do that. They have another character that makes sandwiches. That's his gimmick. He makes sandwiches. Um, you have this electric-y guy here that you see. He basically does electric stuff. You have one that does like volcanic stuff. You have Stitch's girlfriend. Yeah, there's a female Stitch, and she kind of controls dudes. She's basically a siren. Um, and yeah, it's basically Stitch's girlfriend. Um, and the main villain is Hamsterville, which is an alien hamster. Just an alien hamster is deciding to try and get his hands on experiments, try and take over the universe with the space cop whale person that was from the movie too. Um, and I'm blanking on his name, but they're there. They're funny. They're great villains, and it's an evil space hamster. Literally, it's definitely one of those shows. If you've never seen you, Gone 2, thank you. Gone 2 is his name. Um, yeah, if you've never seen it, I 100% suggest it. Um, yeah, so it's just so much fun. It's Disney's Pokemon. All right, now I have to pick between these. Uh let's go with the one that is canonically officially over with and that I've seen. DuckTales, the new one, is just masterfully done. Huey, Dewey, and Louie now have like character. Original DuckTale. Wait, did I not have? Oh, OG DuckTale isn't on here. Uh-oh, I thought I added that one in. OG DuckTale probably also would have gone like good show alongside Darkwing Duck. Um, oopsie daisies. But yeah, back to the better one. I'm sorry. This one is just Scrooge McDuck is played by David Tennant. Doctor Frickin' Who basically being able to be Scottish. Um that so like it so he's great. Donald Duck is great in this too. Um just all the characters are great in this. A lot of the old villains show up again, and I think the revamp they did really like brought them up more. Time Lord Duck, 100%. Yep, yep. Scrooge McDuck is a Time Lord Duck. He is ancient, like canonically in this show. Scrooge McDuck is ancient. He was like 20 something in like during the gold rush. So like the 1800s. Um like late 1800s, Scrooge McDuck was around for it. And now he's like just kind of old in 20 like in like the 2020 eras. Um he did what don't quote. I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. Bad chat. Bad. Um we find out who their mom is. Huey, Dewey, and Louie have a mom. And we find out what happened to her. And that's like the overarching mystery, I think, for like season 1 and 2. Just, where is mom? Um, the villains are also a lot more threatening. Um, like Fowl is way more threatening. Fowl was like one of those like organization and Fowl gets like holy crap threatening. Um Magica is like the level 1 boss that you're like actually have I don't remember this other one, but oh god, I'm blanking on it. Of course. But there's another villain and he's this tech guy who's trying to also become as rich as Scrooge McDuck. But he steals all of his tech stuff and he's kind of a dick. Um Also like a lot of characters get back into it. Plus Darkwing Duck has like a semi-pilot in this show too because they're gonna do, as I said, there's in the plans, I think 2022, 2023, they're gonna do another Darkwing Duck because I mean this um but yeah. um it's just 100% god tier. um it's just something that you guys just find out where Huey, Dewey, and Louie moms are. Find out which one is Huey, Dewey, and Louie. You might remember them now. Um, who is this duck? The girl duck. Girl duck has a name. Girl duck has a secret. Secret is there's a lot of Gravity Fall type secrets in there. But yeah, yeah, it's just definitely um gotta watch it. Owl House. I'm gonna say this right now. Owl House has not finished, and before I give it a higher rank, I want to see the last episodes of Owl House. So right now, Owl House is going in great, but it has such potential to be god tier. I remember watching the first episode of Owl House, and I was like, "Oh God, no!" Um, the pilot of Owl House sucks. If you want to watch episode 1, watch it because it explains a little bit of stuff. But after like episode 2, everything gets good. The pilot just is kind of so like in your face. Oh, we're so promoting this like female character. Look how great she is. Look how female she is. Oh, and we're gonna put some pandery stuff in here too. Oh, look at this. Aren't we cool? Aren't we amazing? No, shut the frick up. Let everything else speak for you. Which it does after like episode 2. Um Owl House has a lot of also kind of parody stuff. They have their own Hogwarts. They kind of, throw a little bit of humor into that stuff. Um but then it has its own weird magic system. And then you start like understanding a lot of the character stuff. And they dive more into the character stuff. And season 2 is out. And hey, guess what? We have our first confirmed Disney LGBT characters. Main LGBT characters. Our main character, Luce, here, has a girlfriend canonically in the show. Not just coded, not just kind of in the background like Gravity Falls. Which I don't know why I didn't have Gravity Falls on here. I'm missing Gravity Falls. Dang it. I might update this list. Uh I'll update this list at some point. But Gravity Falls would be also in God tier. Um Gravity Falls is also just like a masterful show. Stayed for how long it needed to stay. All the mysteries were great. All the characters were great. I'm talking about Owl House. Um, the only reason why I don't have it in God tier at the moment is because I'm missing the last couple of episodes. They haven't come out yet. I feel like once those episodes come out, though, I'll probably put it in God tier, but it's a little too early. Um, but yeah, first LGBT main character in one of these shows, and they do it right. I almost cried because they kind of do it right. They're not pushing the fact that, oh, look at them, they're so special because they're LGBT. No, it's, hey, these two characters started crushing on each other. Their feelings developed in kind of a natural way. And they then became a couple. And as a couple, they're doing kind of couple stuff that you would see kids their age do. Like, kind of wanting to prove yourself to being like a good girlfriend because this is your first girlfriend. Um, kind of, being like, I want to hold your hand. I'm kind of nervous to hold your hand, and I kind of want to talk about my emotions, but I'm nervous to talk about my emotions because, you're young. And I just love it when they do these type of characters right. Because, of course, I have that prejudice with it that, I love that. But I love it when they do it right. There's characters that, they're always on the side. Like, She-Ra had a lot of side LGBT characters. that, they're in it for a little while and then we just don't talk about them. Um, you also have, the trope that I like to call the Korosami, where they'll be like, kind of, yeah, they're kind of, a little bit. We're gonna have them kiss on the last episode. There we go, confirmed. That was great for Korra because that was, really during a time where you couldn't get away with that. But, you know, and any other show that does that right now, no, you can't be like, oh, look at us. We're doing something great. No, Owl House is out. They're doing something great. Um, but yeah, it's a great show. Probably after the last episodes come out, I'll put it in God tier. But yeah. So that's the list. For a quick rundown, God tier is Kim Possible, Phineas and Ferb, Tangled, DuckTales. Great shows, or like probably Gravity Falls in here as well. It is also like just a God tier show. Um, Great shows is Gargoyles, Recess, American Dragon, Jake Long, The Adventures of Winnie and mouth noises. Anyways, Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, Buzz Lightyear, Star Command, Lilo and Stitch, Owl House, which probably going to God tier after last. But I just don't want to move it yet because I want to see if they're gonna do a star. I feel like they won't, but I'm just anxious. Good shows. House of Mouse, 101 Dalmatian Street, Doug, Goof Troop, Darkwing Duck, Aladdin, Little Mermaid, Proud Family, Timon and Pumbaa, Chippendale Rescue Ranger, Tailspin, um, Ladybug and Cat Noir, Mina, um, um, his name is not Muar, but it's one of those words I have a problem with pronouncing. Hercules and Emperor's New School. Those are good shows. Maz shows were The Replacements, Teacher Pet, Monsters at Work, Whack Pack, and Fish Hooks. Bad shows was Brandy and Mr. Misker Whiskers, Mighty Duck, Kick Butowski, and Star versus the Forces of Evil because you know what you genocide maniacs. You know what you did. Oh God, no shows is Clerks because we're all mad at Kevin Smith at the moment, so I just want to be loved. And Pickle and Peanut because just oh God, no. And then I just never saw these ones. I'm planning on watching this one, and I'm planning on watching that one. But the other ones, I don't know if I will or not. Um, and then these are the ones I kind of remember, but just didn't feel like putting them on the list. The best judgment. And Spider-Man is here on mistake. Um, sorry, Spider-Man. But yeah. So that's the list. I have a feeling that this one actually kind of went over better than my movie list because I don't have people yelling at me for my placement of Rodel Dorado. So thanks everyone for coming. I hope you enjoyed. And on that note, good night, goodbye. Don't remember to follow me on Twitch and on YouTube. Um, Same names apply. If you want do your own tier list of this, just copy the link up here. And you can also follow me on Twitter That's my Twitter down there. I have no followers. You people need to. Um. So yeah. Hope you guys enjoy. I'd love to see other people's tier lists of this. Um. But yep. Good night.